What's up, everybody? Welcome back to 16Fix for another live unboxing. So, a little bit different today. We're going to be talking about the DX11 Joker. Not a figure that I have, but my buddy Ben Thomas is here. Out of his personal collection, he'll be unboxing for us. And obviously, Gigi is not here, but we'll have her comment afterwards and get her thoughts on the DX11.
She's
So
missed. She's missed.
she is always, but we'll do without her. So Ben, I keep trying to show her this new intro, but I just love showing it off. So I'm gonna run this bad boy.
I'm
right
ready for
now.
it. Let's do it.
All right,
Love it.
that look at Gigi is in the chat actually. So we've got
Yes.
we've got a lot of the regulars. We got Tukathri. What's going on? Thank you for joining. We've got Cuervo. Hey Cuervo, what's going on, man?
What's up,
We
Cuervo?
got Gigi. Excited for this. Okay, all right. Love the support
Very
here.
nice.
Gigi, I know you're in class right now, but just ditch class and just come over here and do this unboxing.
Make sure you are paying attention.
We got comics in here saying swag. Hey, comics, thank you for joining. And we've got Badfish. Hey, yo, Badfish, thank you for hopping in
Badfish?
here. So we're going to keep this one pretty brief. We want to respect everyone's time. But yeah, so Ben, why don't you tell us the story of how the DX11 came to the collection? And then I think like towards the back end of the unboxing, we'll kind of talk about some new additions to the collection for both of us.
Sounds good. I've already torched my wallet at least once this week, so
We're in trouble, both you and
we'll
I.
see. We'll see where we're at for the end of the week, 100%. But so for the DX11 Joker, I love this guy. To wheel it back a little bit, back all the way to 2008, The Dark Knight is easily one of my favorite movies of all time, and I saw that film in theaters with my buddies, I'd say 12 times. And then I started looking for ways to collect on that movie, right? I wanted to find pieces that, just kind of I could put in the room and make me think of it and have that nostalgia. And clearly Instagram was listening because, of course, Instagram starts showing me this DX11 Joker.
I've heard this story so many times, either Facebook or Instagram, with these targeted ads.
Dude, targeted ads, right? And so it starts coming to me. Well, I'm a younger man at the time. I'm in my earlier 20s, and I'm looking at this figure thinking like $300, like, oh, like that's a steep hill to climb. Like I don't have an extra $300 for a figure in my collection, right? So, and at the time I really had no collection except for some Lego guys, and so I kept looking at it day after day. I worked at the call center at the time, so I had computer access. So every day I kind of had a side tab of cool stuff that I was kind of sorting through, and I kept looking at this DX11, kept looking at him. Well, Heath Ledger passes away, right? Rest in peace. So this figure, gone, immediately gone, like everywhere. And so I'm kind of disappointed, but I'm like, whatever. I didn't have $300 anyways, so what can I do, right? I take a look at the
Can
secondary
you
market.
imagine spending $300 on a figure? Like at the time, how ludicrous did that sound?
It was, yeah. Like, I mean, I couldn't have justified it, right? That was, at the time, that was over half of my monthly rent.
Oh, boy.
And so, right, I'm aging myself a little bit here, but so I kept looking at him, and he kept kind of steadily increasing in price. Well, a year or two goes by, and I'm thinking like, okay, there's no way. I kind of put it out of my mind for a few years, and then I end up in a previous relationship. So this is prior to my fiance now, and The Dark Knight Rises came out in 2012. Well, The Dark Knight figure comes out. And so I'm thinking, okay, I've now got a little bit more bank money, like that's pretty cool. And so I end up acquiring The Dark Knight Rises, DX12. Well, what's Batman without a Joker?
Gotta have his
So
Joker.
I start looking around thinking it's been a few years now, maybe another company's made one or whatever. Well, I can't find anything that's even close to the 2.0 quality of the DX11. So I start looking up the price. Well, at that point, now Canadian, he's in the $1,000 range. So I'm thinking $800 to $1,000, 800 if he's been previously owned. That's getting kind of ridiculous. So either way, I stick with my DX12. That's cool. No worries. Another few years goes by. So we're now approaching a decade of me looking at this figure. I finally am getting into a job where I'm making a little bit of money on the side, a little bit of commission and everything. And I think to myself, to heck with it. I'm going to treat yourself. You know, they say treat yourself.
That's right.
Well,
That's how I live my life.
right. So this is 2 years ago. I went on Evil Bay because at the time I didn't even know figure groups existed. Like I thought I was the only person that even wanted these bad boys, right? Like I mean, I didn't know anybody that collected them. And so I go on Evil Bay, which is the only place I can find the figure available, and spent $1,000 before shipping, so it ended up being about $1,200 Canadian for me to get it here.
Oh boy,
Fast forward to now. Now it's here.
It is here now. Okay, well, you know, this is so. Let me address a few comments in the chat. Badfish says, when I saw the show schedule, I thought Marco couldn't wait for the Queen Studios one. You know, this is one that I've had on my mind for a while. Queen Studios has kind of thrown me a lifeline. I know I'm not alone when it comes to collectors, but as I talked with Ben about, you know, figure is always going to have history. It's always going to be a banger, I think. So let's see. Gigi says she loves that story, Ben.
Yeah, awesome. So I try to make it as non-long-winded as humanly possible.
No, I think you did beautifully. We got Mario in here. Mario, what's going on, man?
Hey, Mario.
We got Riley Reviews. He said, I will admit, I got Marco to buy the Rooted, and he's proud. Riley, you know what? You could admit that because you definitely contributed, but Gigi's in the chat. She's coming for you, bro. So
you don't want that heat, buddy.
So Ben, why don't we get going on the unboxing, and I'll kind of address chats as they come up. But
100%.
you know, we mentioned this is probably a figure that I will never own. It makes me sad, but I just am really curious how it comes packaged and you know what it looks like.
Well, and so like I love the art box on this. It is plain, but it is super classy. And just like some of the other DX options that are kind of out there, when you open him up, he's got that bit of a magnetized flap on that front side. And so it feels really premium when you're opening him up. And you can see this kind of Joker image on the front, obviously, which is pretty nice.
So I've got the Darth Maul, I think it's a DX17, and so it might be the same exact, really similar to how the Darth Maul comes.
Very similar. And I mean, so you got the Why So Serious in here and the cool writing, and like under certain lighting you can't see it at all, and then all of a sudden it just pops, eh? One of the things that I like most that I apologize kind of flopped out was this is covering the DX11 when you open him, when he's on his back, obviously.
Just kind of flopped out, huh?
Flopped out, yeah. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that, especially on a live stream. But it comes with this really funky card. Now this card is actually like it's a proper, deck card basically, and it's got Joker on there. And I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera, probably not with the lighting. It says, Joker, will the real Batman please stand up? Which is kind of cool. So again, just a little bit of a taunt at Batman there, I think.
I'm going to figure out how to solo you, Ben, because I don't think anyone needs to see my face. So let me try to figure out how to make you a bit bigger, number one. And then Gigi has a question here. So does this version make it more exclusive since they probably won't make this one again because now companies are trying to one-up one another? Ben, do you want to take that one, or do you want me to hop in there?
It's an interesting question, because I would say it kind of depends on who you're asking. On somebody who wants to have a full collection, somebody who's trying to collect them all, maybe they, like just that collector who needs to have it, this guy will still definitely hold his value. I think if Hot Toys makes a 3.0 version of this figure, this guy will continue to decrease slightly in value, but I think that collectability, like Gigi's asking there, of will they ever make this guy again? No. And there's only a finite amount of these guys in the world, right? Right now, it's still pretty new and fresh. It's only within a decade. But think about anything that's, 20 or 30 or 40 years old, like some of the comics that we see nowadays, that suddenly some of those, Silver Age or Bronze Age comics that weren't worth anything are now suddenly so much more valuable just because of their age and because you can still get one. So I think this will continue to kind of go through a roller coaster of value, basically. So.
And there will always be completionist collectors that will want this version.
That's
right?
the word I was looking for. That completionist, exactly right. Perfect. So one of the things that I also loved about this box is just the way that it highlights his face. For me, the smiling face or the laughing face, to me, is still, I would say, my favorite of the two, even though this face comes with the rolling eye system or the PERS system. Let's take a look. Let's get this guy out here.
See, now this is the type of head that I wish that Queen Studios provided. This like laughing sculpt, and that's one of the things that really differentiates this release.
100%. Sorry, I'm just going to put something in behind it to make that a little more visible for you guys. Give me 2 seconds.
Looks really good, by the way, Ben. The lighting looks great.
I love this head sculpt.
You see the likeness there. Like it just looks so good.
Absolutely. And bear with me, guys, because this is, of course, my first unboxing live. So normally we get to kind of cut out some of these little extras in terms of the camera flashing, but we'll figure it out for you. So
Like I said, Ben, our unboxings are extra low budget. You're classing the joint up with your lighting and your your good camera angles. That's not how we normally roll here. So
that's fair. I'm going to lay this guy on his back. I'm just going to quickly mute myself here for just a half second, just while I pull the clamshell out from underneath.
all right, while Ben is on mute, I will address the chat here. So Mario saying it doesn't work that way. And I think that's in relation to Gigi saying that she doesn't like upselling. Yeah, she's like on her high horse about upselling stuff. She's always like, well, you shouldn't charge that much if you should just sell it for retail. I'm like, that's not how the market works, Gigi, but she's a good soul and we balance each other out because I'm not. So Gigi's saying, Ben, you're too classy. That is true. He is way too classy for this channel. I don't know why he keeps agreeing to come back on here, but
just because I keep hoping to see Gigi and she's never there. So what can I do, right?
Rare
and also
appearances.
I'm trying to learn how to have a better beard game, Marco. I'm going to take some lessons on that later.
I'll show you the beard balms and the
that's
stuff.
right.
I'm trying to step my game up too. So Gigi's saying, I don't think that's what Mario meant. Okay, well, I guess I misread the situation.
Right. So in the box here, this had that slip cover over the front, obviously, so you can it identifies what's there. But when you take that slip cover off to expose the foam, then you get to see all the hand sculpts. It was funny, when I was boxing this bad boy up last night so that I could unbox it today, I could not for the life of me remember where these hands go because the slip cover was on. And so I'm thinking, oh no, like I've thrown out the packaging or something that held the hands. No, it was in the foam.
Oh man, I know
All
sometimes when you get those parts out, it's so hard to figure out how the heck they box that thing.
Well, and of course, I never really have had the intention of selling this guy. Like either way, even with the Queen release, I really don't have the intention of selling him. And so I wouldn't have necessarily surprised me to eliminate some of that packaging. But so you can see you get 6 gloved hands. Now it's interesting with the Queen Studios release. I honestly can't tell much of a difference in the gloved hands on these guys versus what we're seeing on the Queen Studios version. Now, I know in one of the reviews that had one of the guys on from Queen Studios, they were saying that the glove hands will likely still have a forearm attached. But none of the images or promo images have shown that yet necessarily.
Oh, I didn't catch that, Ben. I thought it was just a standalone hand. Interesting.
But that's the thing, right? If it's a standalone hand, those other hands that have the whole forearm attached to it, it's attached. That's kind of the point, right?
Yeah.
And so I'd be curious then what these hands necessarily attach to.
Absolutely.
But in terms of paint application, I mean, these are pretty standard Hot Toys quality. Anytime you see kind of that solid color paint, that's exactly what these guys look like.
Absolutely. And Ben, not to make you nervous, but Shauna's in the chat as well. So
hey, there we
bring
go.
your A
Very
game.
nice. Very nice. I'm very full on mashed potatoes and chicken. Thank you very much, sweetest, for whipping that bad boy up before this.
I heard you made a killer dinner, Shauna.
It was quite nice.
And apologies for stealing your man for a little bit, but we'll get him back to you here very soon.
100%. Now, what I want to address is the hands that come with the DX11, because I've heard other reviewers, and again, this isn't a knock on anybody. I'm wondering if maybe they just haven't necessarily had it in hand, because these hands are unlike any other sculpted regular hand sculpt that I've seen on any other figure. And I compared it to some of the figures like, I believe Captain America. He has some ungloved hands that are available, and some of the other figures that I have that have ungloved hands. And they're pretty standard hands in terms of the sculpting. But what I'm hoping I can show on here is some of the art or the artistic representation of what's going on with these hands. It's a little blurry. I
It looks
apologize,
good though.
guys.
I think I'm getting the sense of. So you're talking about like the curvature of the fingers or the actual paint application?
Not necessarily. It's more of the actual paint. Let's see if I can get like this here. One second. I'm just gonna quickly change my lighting here, guys, for you. Bear with me for just a half second. See if that's any better.
And so okay, it is coming a little washed out, but
Way washed out. Yeah.
does it have like smeared paint or anything that's kind of similar to what the Queen Studios was showing?
Exactly. It's exactly what I wanted to show, because when you look at this, there is dirt under the fingernails. There's different coloration in the skin. You can see the veining in his hands. On some of the fingertips, there's light paintwork, clearly showing that like he's rubbed that war paint onto his face. They're beautiful and dirty, and so realistic for a figure that's what, 10 years old now. It actually blows my mind, to the point where I'm almost surprised other figures now that have more of a standard hand sculpt haven't had more complaints that the paint has almost been kind of reeled back since these older school
And I wonder if
versions.
that's just a victim of Hot Toys making so many figures now that they've kind of got to reuse parts at a certain point. I know that's giving them a free pass, but they don't make them
Right.
like this anymore where we get the detail on each hand.
Well, you can even see how like the knuckles are a little bit darker, and the finger like bends are a little bit darker, just like you would see, with a real human hand. They're beautiful. Anybody that says these are just standard hand sculpts and that the new figure is a standout, I agree that those new figure hands are amazing, and I think they're gonna really amp that Queen Studios version up. But these hands are beautiful. So that's my rant on the hands. My little
And let
rant.
me
'Cause
also
I'm
give a
like,
shout out to Mark P, who's joining. Hey, Mark, thank
Hey,
you for
Mark.
joining.
That's awesome. Thanks for coming out, guys. I really appreciate it. All right, let's get this guy out. Let's hope for no body cracks. Can you imagine? Ripped his arm off.
And Ben, I do want to we'll plug your channel at the end, obviously, but you do have a video on your channel about whether to sell or keep this Joker, right?
Exactly right. I titled it. What did I call it? I can't remember. It's basically that. Is it time to sell this figure or not? Because obviously, if it is, this guy is starting to go down in price. I took a look yesterday online. I could now sell him for about $800 Canadian. So I think, what does that make? That's probably in the $700 range for American pricing.
Still pretty
725
significant,
maybe.
though. Yeah.
Very significant, but it would ultimately mean that I'm taking a loss based on how I paid for it. Which, to sell or not to sell? There we go. Shauna put it out there, because she's the one that coined that. She's the one that coined that title. Actually,
That makes a lot of
came
sense
up with
because I was like, that's a little too good for Ben to have come up with himself.
right. I'm not that creative. So thank you to Shauna for the creative titles. But take a look at that for more of the market side of this figure, if you get a chance, guys, on the Ben Thomas show.
That looks
Obviously,
really
I'm
good
here.
right there, Ben, from what you're showing off. Sorry to cut you off, but
No worries, no worries. Now, one thing that I will say about this figure, at least my copy of him, and I can't say that this is a blanket statement for all DX11s, but the guy can barely stand by himself. He's got such weak knees. It's almost like some of the old sideshow bodies. You can feel that it's a cheaper body underneath than what you see nowadays with certain figures. Now, I pass that off as a slight excuse for this guy because he has also an extremely small footprint. And so he doesn't have, like the Captain America Endgame size boots that you can place this guy in. But you can tell the body underneath has definitely either just aged poorly, or I've had him in a sitting position for too long. It's either or. I'm not 100%
that's what I was going to
sure.
ask if the sitting to standing was kind of contributing. But yeah, sounds like that might be the case.
And it might be the case. Having the jacket and the shirt on actually helps him to maintain it. So obviously now you can see we got him standing, which is pretty cool.
A few comments here. So Riley saying the DX11 was way ahead of its time. Yeah, absolutely. It's 10 years old now, Ben.
About 10 years old, I believe, yeah.
And we've got Sam just saying that, hey, Sam, thank you for joining. Was it 800 Canadian? He said that's about $3 in the States. Okay, Sam.
Dude, you're not kidding, man. It's pretty close. Anytime I see American pricing, I'm like, oh, that's not bad. And then I remember that there's a conversion rate and what's it called, a customs fee and all the good stuff for me to get it anyways.
Yeah, killer.
The one thing that I will say about this DX11 is that I honestly, even though you guys are seeing it on camera here, again, I apologize for a little bit of blurriness. I'm trying to not shake it all while I show it to you. In person, the figure or the face from all angles has that Heath Ledger likeness. When you compare him to the Queen Studios picture to picture, this guy looks outdated. He doesn't look like he's up to snuff anymore. But for anybody who's able to pick this guy up at a cheaper value than, what you would have seen a year ago, if you have that money, I still recommend him 100%. I will not sell this figure, whether or not I got the rooted hair one coming or not, because he's still beautiful. And from certain angles, like the side, his jawline and everything, like I see Heath Ledger there so much, it's ridiculous.
So on that resale, Riley is saying he saw someone buy a brand new DX11 for a little under $1,100 on eBay yesterday. So that's
Wow.
yeah. This, and let's see, Mark P saying sell him. Well, it's hot, but Gigi saying don't sell, sentimental value, and Shauna is saying oddly enough, I say keep him and just buy the new one if you want it. He's the OG. Exactly, Shauna. I think there's always going to be value with this figure, especially given that story that you have, Ben.
Yeah, and I think like Gigi even nailed it on the head there, right? Like it's the nostalgic value for me. There's more to this figure than just the figure himself, as well as the memories I have associated with the movie and the film, right? So I'm gonna pull this clamshell out, guys. Here, hopefully it's not too loud on the camera. So under the foam section, this is what you see next, Marco. So give me one
Again,
second.
with Hot Toys just doesn't make them like this anymore, right? Look at all that stuff you get.
Let me see if I can turn this light down or change it just a little bit, warm it up a little bit here.
That looks pretty good right there to me.
That's okay. I'm just going to mute myself so I don't crunchy in everybody's ear here.
Sounds
just 2
good,
seconds.
and I'll read Sam's comment while you do that. So Sam says, one thing, I never sell Hot Toys. I always keep them. There's plenty of other stuff in life to do the buy-sell game. Sam, that's really where I'm at. I've sold a few Hot Toys, but I think maybe only 2 so far. And I hope, as long as I don't run out of room to, if I need to put some in storage for a little bit and rotate them out, that's probably my plan moving forward. But who knows what life has in store. And Sam also says, I sold my Hot Toys collection 10 years ago and had to start over, and he always regrets it. So I remember you sharing that story, Sam. Yeah, that's glad you're getting a second lease at your Hot Toys collecting. I will kick it over to you now, Ben, if you're ready to.
Still had myself muted just in case, so I'm not heavy breathing into the camera here, guys. But if you take a look down here, obviously I've kept the plastic on the Joker stand. I've never actually taken it off. If you pull this Joker stand out, though, you've got the instruction manual underneath, which is awesome. DX11 Joker.
I love that you keep your plastic on some of the stuff. I do the same thing. Like, I'm probably never going to use that. Just keep it wrapped up.
Well, 100%, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not going to use it, leave it wrapped up. You never know if you're going to sell it. If you do, you can at least say there's still some original plastic on this bad boy, which is cool.
Absolutely. And, the last thing I say here, this shotgun, I could see people going after that shotgun. You might be able to sell that for $100 by itself, since the Queen Studios one doesn't come with it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And I'll show these a little closer up here in a second, guys, if I can. Now, it's interesting. I just heard last night, I believe, that the bonus item that you get with the new Queen Studios version is handcuffs, which comes standard with the DX11. So to me, that doesn't feel like a very bonus-esque feature, if that makes sense.
And it was a bonus if you ordered any of the versions in the first 3 days, right? Was that the case?
That's right. That's right. Exactly. So you can see here we get, let's see if I can get a bit better of a shot. It's so bright. Give me 1 second, guys.
And Badfish is saying to Sam, I think I agree with you. I'm willing to sell most of my collection, but Hot Toys. Yeah, sometimes you just don't want to regret moving on from one. And Mark P says, my Kill Bill pops are worth more than the others in my collection. Okay.
I don't know if you guys can see that very well. Holy cow. makes all those super professional YouTube reviewers look pretty good, eh? When they can get this all on those
Yeah.
super high definition cameras.
They're
but
not doing it
that's
live
okay.
like this though, Ben. You know, this is a whole
That's
different
true.
breed here. Oh,
That's
that
true.
looks
There we
really
go.
good right there.
Oh, that's a little bit better. So you got a couple knives, which are very cool. If you'd like, I can take them all out here, Marco. So I've had the handcuffs on this figure for quite some time because I had him handcuffed to his chair. So while he was sitting in position, I had him all locked in, and the handcuffs work. They work perfectly.
Oh, awesome! Those are beautiful. So are they plastic or are they die cast?
They are plastic. They have a bit of a weight to them. So when I first pulled them out, actually, I originally thought that they were die cast because they have some weight. But as you can see, you can open them up, put them around his wrists, lock him to a chair, lock him to another figure, kind of all of the above. Comes with the 1/6 scale pencil, which is
pencil is
interesting.
another one you might be able to sell for $100, man.
Oh, yeah, right? It's crazy. The cool thing about the pencil is that they included it. The funny part is that, like, the scene that they've provided us, which we'll get to here shortly, guys, doesn't actually include the pencil. It's not really part of that scene, right? But I'm not complaining. I mean, it came with it, which is very, very cool. This guy comes also with a pack of cards. Now, I have never taken the cards out because I was deathly afraid that if I ever did, I would lose them.
Oh, open those cards right now, Ben. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, like, right? Get them all out. Let's see what it's like. It's so hard to see.
I think we get a sense of the scale though, and I can kind of see that it's a Joker on there, right?
Yeah, it's a pack of essentially Joker cards, and they have imprintation on both sides. So it's like, I know it's just a shiny square for you guys right now. Apologies.
Is it the same Joker that the judge gets in her, files?
Yes,
And then
exactly the same
That's
one.
such an awesome
Great
card.
question. Yeah, really cool.
Okay, so I know we're not going to really talk about the Batman, but I don't think there was one scene in the Batman that rivaled, the Joker taking out the commissioner and the judge, and I forget who else he takes out, but that scene just had so much tension. I don't think there was one scene that rivaled that in the new Batman movie.
Honestly, I it's hard to argue. I agree with that. There were so many cool scenes in the movie, but like this scene in the Joker where you see those cards everywhere and kind of blow that a car explosion where you see the cards, super cool. The cash this guy comes with, it's actually a pretty fat stack of cash, which is nice. So you can kind of recreate that, iconic scene with him just kind of throwing money around a little bit.
Oh, so it does come with individual dollars, just like the Queen Studios one.
Individual dollars, exactly.
Wow, okay.
Let's see if I can get this to show. Just give me one sec.
Oh yeah, it looks great right there. Wow, that's like incredible detail.
Now, the one thing that I would say is a negative on this guy is just that I should say on the bills anyways, that there's no detail on the backside of every bill. None at all. Okay. It's just white. So if you're going to display him, if you're going to display the cash, I should say, you can't just kind of throw it on the stand and make it look like he just threw it around. You have to actually place it upright.
You can't make it rain. You got to be a little more deliberate.
No, you can't make it rain. That's right.
And I'm getting some positive feedback here for you, Ben. Sam's saying that he's enjoying this, that you're doing great, and he's enjoying the process.
Decent. Decent. Thanks, Sam. Sam's in almost every chat. The guy's going to be my new best friend here pretty soon. So
Sam is awesome.
Yeah. So this is one of his. I don't know what you'd call this blade. Maybe you know, Marco, because Americans know weapons better than us Canadians.
It's kind of racial, but
I
don't actually. It's like a switchblade, maybe.
It is. That's exactly what it is. I couldn't think of the word.
I'm reinforcing stereotypes here.
but it works. It's a fully functional switchblade, so you can close it into itself.
Oh wow!
And then it's a closed piece.
That's awesome.
Which is very, very cool. We have a retractable knife as well in this package. It's hard to show you and do it, but it, of course, opens and retracts.
Whoa, I did not realize every little detail that this thing comes with. No wonder it's so sought after.
Every single thing. I want to say this is what is the heck is this? It's hard to say what that is. It almost looks like a screwdriver, but it's not. It's a blade of some type. It's got a serrated edge on the side, which is hard to show on the camera here. It almost looks like a carrot peeler, actually. I would want to say, like, it looks like something you know, but I wouldn't put it past the Joker to carry a carrot peeler. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
trying to think. I'm trying to think when in the movie he may have used that. Interesting.
right? I don't know. And then the only other thing that comes in this little package, apologize for the crunchiness, are 2 of these.
Is that a hoe or a?
No. So what it actually does, there's no hose on this channel.
Well,
is you can slot it in. I can't do it right now because I can't see anything in our current
from
lighting.
the
But
end
you
of the
can
movie.
correct
Okay.
where he slots it into his shoe, right in the tip. So then it sticks out at the tip for when
Holy cow,
when he's gonna kick Batman.
They gave us like details for almost every scene. Shauna said that that's actually a pie knife.
She
And
does.
Gigi-
She does the cooking, so she would know.
Gigi said, "Is it a shiv?" Oh, man.
That's actually a pie knife. I like it. It's awesome. Alrighty. That is it for those accessories that are on the top. Now, to me, these are the standout accessories. Even still, like, I mean, it just keeps getting better and better and better. But I absolutely love the furniture that comes with this guy. Let me see if I can get a nice, close, slow angle.
Looks good.
It's not die cast. It is plastic, but it's a very convincing plastic. Like, to look at this in your display with the right lighting on it, you can see butt imprints in the seat. You can see imprintation in the back top here. Just like, clearly it's been a well-used chair. There are, sorry guys, I almost dropped it on you there. See if I can see this here. Give me a second.
See, the details like this are almost like a rationale for Hot Toys to make less figures a year and just like concentrate on these fine details that they used to give us when there were less, properties coming out.
It's got like dirty legs. Like, clearly this thing has been dragged around a bunch. Let's see if I can see it there. So you can see like there's like scratching and different imprintation on there. It comes with little chair bottom pieces where, like, just like every dining room chair in most people's kitchens, one of those like little floor scrape pieces that you put on the bottom so you don't gouge your nice hardwood is slipping off there, as is tradition. Beautiful. So, I mean, I've had this guy sitting upright in his chair for quite some time. And it's still probably the best way for at least for my figure to display. I'm just going to set him in here so we can get him off of his back. Give me 1 second, guys.
So this coat is obviously designed to come off. Like, how does it come off? How easily does it come off? I'm not asking you to do it, but just curious how easily it happens.
So for this guy, it's interesting. His arms are ratcheted. So even though he's still got a weaker body and really weak knees, I wish there was ratcheted knees on this guy. His arms are ratcheted, so you can actually hear a bit of a click when you bring him back and then forward. So you have to take the hands off in order to slip the jacket off. You bring essentially the arms all the way back, and you can kind of slowly peel it off of his shoulders, like so, and pull it down.
Okay, so it's a little bit of a pain to do so, but doable.
It is, but I will do it because I want to show you guys, especially with how good the Queen Studios version is. It's so nerve-wracking to pull the arms back on this guy, I'll tell you. So
Gigi asks, is it weird that she likes that noise, the ratcheted joints? No, I think it's definitely some ASMR stuff right there. Shauna says, arms are heavy, mom's spaghetti. Awesome.
Oh my goodness.
It's just incredible how much better looking and funnier our significant others are.
No doubt, eh? Like, what the heck?
They need to just have their own channels.
Right. Alrighty. Here, let me
So this coat right there, I'm trying to remember where this look is from.
So this is actually, I think, more from the bank robber scene.
Oh, okay.
Where at the beginning of the movie he's got this jacket on when he's got the face mask on. Now there are actually two different iterations of this particular Joker. One of the versions, like, so this is technically not the deluxe version of this character. This is
Okay.
kind of like I want to call it the standard version, which is kind of funny because it's so loaded. But the deluxe version comes with the mask from the original like scene, or for that first scene in the bank, where he's got that other Joker mask over top of his face that he lifts up. The deluxe version comes with that. I don't have that
Got it.
version, unfortunately. But if you did, not only could I'm sure you put it over his face if you wanted to recreate that kind of bank robber-esque scene. Now, obviously, it's the jacket that's the bank robber portion. The stuff that's underneath isn't canon to that scene. Technically, that's more for later in the movie.
Okay,
But
good call.
you could kind of fake it if you wanted to.
There you go. This is a cool alternate look. And Gigi says you shouldn't have taken off the coat. It wasn't worth damaging for this stream.
No, I've had this guy displayed without his jacket on mostly because the one thing that I would say about this jacket, as beautiful in color as it is, it's very bathroby. You know, it looks like you just got out of the shower. He wants a nice heated blanket. Uh, it doesn't look like a jacket, and even in person, I've futzed with it as much as I can to try and find that look. After the stream, guys, if you have a chance, go check out the Ben Thomas show, because the review I had there, I've got him posed where I've been able to kind of futz with the cape in a way that makes it look like, or the cape, sorry, the jacket, in a way that looks like the wind is kind of blowing it behind him, which is pretty cool, which gives it a bit more of a dynamic look. Having said that, if you're trying to recreate that look of him standing in the street, kind of like you've seen with the new Queen Studios version, where he's standing in the street, he's got the gun down at his side, and it's where, Batman's gonna drive at him head first with the motorcycle, or with the
Do
what would
it.
you call it?
I want
Bat
you to
cycle,
hit me.
right? Yeah, that really intense scene. Again, looks like you just got out of the shower with this bad boy on. That is something where I would say the new Queen Studios version is definitely superior in
Well,
terms
we
of
hope, right, for the final
Taylor.
release.
Well, right, 100%. Yeah.
And Ben, on your channel, I'll drop the link right now in the chat, and then I'll
Oh, yeah,
also
sure.
put in the description of this video, I'll put a link to your channel as well.
I'm not very good at self-promotion. If anything, I'm just excited to be here, man. It's one of those things.
And Badfish is saying I sounded just like the Joker. I feel like he's blown a little smoke, but thank you for the compliment.
All these sweet angels in the chat tonight. I'm just happy to have people here. Now, I'm going to just do this really slowly, guys. So I don't know if you want to take a look at the chat and see if there's anything you can do there, Marco, while I do this too. Because if there's any ripping noises, I might cry.
No.
So we don't want to see that on. Nobody wants to see that on camera.
Well, this might be a good opportunity while you're doing that to talk about what you ended up doing with the Queen Studios version, or if you're still deciding what's the calculus on whether you're getting that or not.
Well, so I still had a bit of savings left there about a week and a half ago before I bought my new television. So I had put $100 aside in order to at least lock in a pre-order on this guy. Now, I was so on the fence because I don't need, in my opinion, 3 Jokers. And with the rooted hair, as everybody knows, it comes with, 3 or two rooted hair versions, which is awesome, especially if you want to display both looks, but not so much if you're really only wanting to have one figure. You don't need, like, to me, I don't need necessarily 2 rooted hair Jokers. And what I'm surprised it hasn't come up in questions yet, but I'm surprised nobody's really asked, like, does their Queen Studios version, the one that comes with the purple jacket on, you can see this green vest underneath that option. But then you also get the version rooted hair where he's sitting in the chair without all the jacket on and everything. My question is, in order to get that tailoring, did they have to sew it to the body? Or can you take that jacket off and recreate the secondary look? And all you would have really needed is a second head sculpt, if you'd wanted one, right?
Yeah, that's a good point that question hasn't really been asked yet. I'm very curious as well. And I had the same, hesitancy because I was like, I don't need two Jokers. But at the end of the day, their pricing model was so brilliant to get you to pull the trigger on those.
Well, I think it was you that actually said it best, how they kind of incentivized you to kind of, well, I can talk myself into the second option. Okay, well, maybe screw it, like maybe let's go up to the next option, right? Like
Progressive seduction, right? You deal with
that's
that
how
in
you
your
said
job.
it. I love, dude.
I know
I
you
was
do
like,
that in your job all the time, man. You sell them on the next best thing.
right? If you're gonna buy the crap paint, you might as well get a little bit better of paint, and it's gonna last you for a longer, right? That incremental or that persuasive sales makes sense for a business standpoint. It almost talked me out of the figure. Even in my review of this guy that I recently had on my channel, I said in that review, I think it's a deal breaker. Like for me, I don't think I can justify it. The only reason I changed my mind on that was, again, it's a bit of PTSD, of fear of missing out. When I missed out on this guy, it took me 10 years to be able to come up with $1,000 to buy him again, or to buy him in general. I don't want to miss this option with the rooted hair, and then in 5 years from now have to pay $2,000 or $3,000, or like who knows what it could grow to, especially depending on how popular Queen Studios becomes, right?
Absolutely, their first
if
release.
Yep. Yeah, if they surpass Hot Toys eventually, in terms of their quality and their production and their sales and all of those things, then nail on the head. I mean, having that first figure, you're not going to be able to buy that for anything even close to a good price. Let's just say
100%. Let me address the chat really quick, and then we'll hop back in. Nicoleo's saying rips and tears when you were taking off the the coat. Whoops. I think it happened okay. I think we got it done.
We got it.
Badfish says, I need 3, not 2. Well, Mark P says, but you do, Marco. All right, so encouragement there. Gigi says that I really don't. Gigi, I do, and she, she rolled her eyes, but I think she understood the rationale behind why I wanted to take the plunge, Go ahead, Ben, and talk about that coat.
I just wanted to show it while you were talking there. No need to interrupt you by any stretch. It's a nice material. I actually like this jacket significantly more than the purple one. This actually feels like a real suit coat, like something that a blazer, something you throw on over a nice dinner shirt. The material on the inside is epic. I mean, like awesome. It is so shiny and so soft. It's beautiful. It's a really, really nice material. I don't remember it actually being that orange in the film. So I'm not, I like, it makes me want to go back and see how like film accurate that is, because in a lot of the newer iterations, even in the, and you'll be able to put it in my mind here, Marco, but the, I think it was Daft Toys, I want to say, or Dark Toys, one of those groups that comes up with just accessories kits.
Okay.
Their Joker accessories kit that you could essentially swap out on the DX11. It was a lot more muted, and I'm noticing that in the Queen Studios version, it's also a lot more muted. You don't see that really vibrant orange, but it's in both. I mean, they literally match each other.
Yeah,
I had a party hat once
really
that reminded me of this.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it is Daft Toys, right? Because they're doing that Bane.
Daft Toys, I think is what it is. Yeah, exactly.
And, since our live unboxings normally go off the rails, Badfish is saying, speaking of paint, I chose the wrong stuff for my bathroom and it's already flaking, and we painted in May last year. So you gotta go with the deluxe.
Yeah, if you want a paint quote, let me know. We'll talk after the stream.
There you go.
So, I'm not coming to the States.
Man, you might as well expand your business. Shoot.
Can you imagine? Just give me 1 second. I dropped the chair, and let's make sure there's no paint damage here. I'm just going to take my earphones out, guys. 1 second.
You're good. We've got Mark Pearson jumping in here. Shoot, he knew he had to be somewhere. Mark, thank you for joining. These unboxings and live streams are not the same without you. So glad you were able to hop in here. We try to give enough advance warning, but for us being on normally Mexican time, that's like 30 minutes is the maximum. So let's see. Sam is saying, never try to save money on paint. I guess that's a lesson that I haven't learned yet, but I guess I'll know now. I would definitely consult you when we go to paint our house.
I was going to say, yeah, definitely talk to me before you do. You'd be surprised at the mistakes. But no work talk today.
There you go. One last thing on the fear of missing out. Badfish is saying, I missed out on a few key characters because of pre-orders, Emperor and Dooku, and I don't see them reissuing them anytime soon. Yeah, that's the tough part. You get burned a few times. You know, last year I think I canceled a handful of figures. It was either last year or 2 years ago. One of them was a Remnant Trooper, and one of them was Justice League Superman. Like the two figures that ended up being worth the most were the pre-orders I canceled. So I'm like, you know, if I want it, I'm getting it, and I'm paying my tax. Okay,
100%.
let me. Last thing. Shauna says, make sure you find all the pieces before Alfie or the vacuum does. All right, you gotta clean up here.
Alfie's are very large 18-pound silver bangle. And I tell you, if it is on the floor, he will find it and he will try and eat
You
it.
go for it.
It's part of the reason he's so heavy, I think, honestly, at this point. But also, Sean always feeds him the good stuff, right?
There you go.
Yeah, no kids in this family, which actually kind of contributes to part of the reason I can justify a collection, right? I mean, for all those
Big
families
facts.
out there that have the little kids and everything that they need to worry about, I don't know if I could ever justify $1,000 on a Joker. I would find a way, but
There you go.
it's one of
There's
those
always,
things.
there's always compromises that have to be made somewhere or the other, you know.
Correct. Get this guy off to the side for a second now that he's well secured. And show you guys this here. So this is the table that comes obviously with the Joker here. Slot him up underneath.
That freaking this display right here is just so epic. Like this alone is worth keeping the figure.
100%. I don't know if they'll ever recreate this table even with any of the figures. And I honestly don't think that, again, I don't think that the table of all things gets enough credit. I don't know if I can show it very well on camera, but this thing is scratched to hell. And I can tell you, this isn't from poor usage, like, or bad hot toysmanship, however you want to call it. Like it looks like this has been in, an interrogation room for 15 years. There are scratches and cross and like what looks like almost like graffiti scratching on it. Similar with the legs, like you see rust build up and dirt on the legs. Let's see if I can get that to stay still for a second. Right up in here. I mean, it's insane. Plastic. I'm happy it's not die cast because this would be so freaking heavy in the box. Like you wouldn't want to pay for the shipping, right?
But it really shines though. It really looks like metal from here.
The paint application, whatever paint they've used on it, like you said, Marco, it looks like metal. And then there is a little hole in the table at the top here, right here, that you can put the pencil in. So you can stick the pencil in, just like the iconic scene. And you can recreate that gangster scene if you want, where he slams the guy's head into the pencil, right? Like this doesn't just have to be the interrogation scene, which is cool, and that's a detail that I feel like they didn't have to give. It's not necessarily the scene they were trying to go for. That's pretty cool. What I don't love about it is if you don't want to display the pencil like that, there is no stopgap. There's no way that you can actually block the hole. So then it always has a hole in it. There's a light that comes with this guy that goes on the table as well. Now it's magnetized on the bottom, and there's a magnet in one of the sides of the table here. Boom, there it is.
That's beautiful.
So then you can't knock it off by accident, which is nice.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah. It even has like a little light bulb inside and everything. Like it's the full deal. Like it's amazing. It's amazing the quality. I keep calling it beautiful, but I can't think of another word for it. It's like
It just really is. It's art.
Yeah, it's art, and it really, really is. And again, when you get the Batman in behind this guy, and it's like, it looks like a scene recreation. I've got a few pictures on my Instagram if you guys want to check it out. I did a behind the scenes picture of my video the other day.
How do people find you on Instagram?
You can look for me at the Ben Thomas Show. That's how I've got it in there, or Ben Thomas, I think will also pull me up.
Awesome. And we've got H Green 1313 joining. H Green, thank you for hopping in here.
Hey, Trey.
Ben, one more thing or two more comments. We're going to stop with the paint talk, but Mark went off here. He said, I always use oil-based paints on exterior or bathrooms without proper ventilation. Stuff sticks to everything. Messy cleanup, but lasts forever if done right. We can
Not
always
wrong.
count on Mark to derail the conversation. And, and Gigi does say that the Joker tax that I pay on the Queen Studios, 2-pack rooted, which I don't know if I mentioned, but that is what I'm getting as well. That's going to be going towards our bathroom remodel. So that's how we balance things, by me paying a tax. And then one last thing, Riley is saying the accessories are sick. Hope Hot Toys changes it up and at least doesn't give the table and chairs.
I agree.
There you go.
I agree. If they're gonna do another like a 3.0 Joker, I really hope that the accessories are at least different. For the Johns of the world who hate reissues, I can appreciate that because reissues do devalue the figure to a point, and especially if you get a nicer, newer iteration of it. But again, you can't beat these accessories. If you were to just try and purchase these accessories on their own terms to try and kind of recreate the scene, you'd spend a fortune, trying to recreate it. So I agree with Riley there. If they come out with, I actually always wanted the jail cell bars in the bench seat to recreate that scene that Queen is giving us. So I think that's really, really cool. I think if you have the DX11 Joker and you still have the jail cell bars that come with the Queen, you can create almost like a jail setting, which would be really neat depending on the size of your display. And have kind of potentially multiple iterations. Even if you had it on a turntable where, when it's turned one direction, you see it, from the jail cell bars and him clapping on this side, and then when you turn it around, you get him kind of at that interrogation table. Like,
Wow, I love
so many
that
cool
idea.
things. So many cool things that you can do, right? So, we've seen better guns than this from Hot Toys recently. I mean, and I only say that because it's really cool how it operates. The paint on here is pretty minimal. It's pretty much just sculpted black plastic. Nothing really moved. Like, this does move, so it does cock. So like Queen is advertising that they can put bullets in. This doesn't come with its own bullets, but you still see cocking mechanisms, which is really neat. It gives it a very good vibe. I think if you were like an artistic painter, if you had some skill with that, like I know our buddy Zach over at Collecting Weekly, he does some paint finishing on some of his vehicles and stuff like that. I would love to send something like this to a Zach, and get him to kind of flare it up a little bit, make it look a little bit more gritty, a little bit more used, a little bit more metal, because it feels a little on the cheaper side. Even though it's pretty, and as I said, it's got working mechanisms, which is really cool. And for a 10-year-old figure, again, you can't really beat it. Like they pack the stuff in this guy. Let's see here.
Let me address 3 comments here really quick.
100%. Yeah, no rush.
Sam was saying the rooted 2-pack was the only way to go. Sam, I was so back and forth on, I literally looked at all the versions and it was a tough calculus, but them putting us in that time box really got me to pull the trigger, and I think others as well. Badfish is speculating, saying the 3.0 Hot Toys might come with the bars like Queen Studios. Maybe, but that'd be a tough, I would probably advise them against doing that, but who knows? What are your thoughts on that, Ben?
I think that they would be crazy to do that. They not only would it be an obvious slap back at Queen Studios, there's still enough of us that now have an NRD on the new guy, or on the new set that, like, I mean, are people really willing to lose their NRD to go back over to Hot Toys when Hot Toys had, what, a decade to come out with this guy? Mm-hmm. And if Hot Toys announced it right now, it would still be 2 years away, maybe at best. Unless they've had a working model already for some time that they just for some reason haven't released. But that doesn't really seem to be Hot Toys style for the most part, especially for more premium figures. So I'd be worried if they did release their own option or announce their own option, it would still be 2 or 3 years away anyways. And at that point, if you've picked up the Queen and we get it this year like they're kind of promising, you could sell it if you weren't happy with it and then buy the Hot Toys version, right? I think there'd be more chance there. So I would say that even if Hot Toys said this week, boom, guess what? We've got a new guy coming out. How awesome is that? Unless they can beat Queen's timeline to have it in your collection sitting on the shelf and being superior to this guy, I would say wait. Get the Queen one. See how that goes. Have a first figure of a new studio. Support them and go back to Hot Toys if you're not happy with the quality once you have it in hand.
Yeah, and I'm in the minority. I think Hot Toys should just, ignore this Joker for now and
Me too.
focus on other stuff. Right. So I know we're kind of in that aligned there, but I know a lot of folks are like, they got to come out, they got to send a message. It's not about the money, it's about sending the message. All right.
Very nice.
No
I
more
liked
Joker
it.
impressions. So one last comment on painting. H Green is saying, I was painting one of my dioramas tonight, and I think my wife would rather me paint a room in the house. Yeah, it's a tough balance when you're
Hey, that's a good painting comment. I thought it was another Mark Pearson saying,
right.
that he's got Alkyd paint on his walls. I'm a little bit worried about how much mess you make in that room, buddy. But um, yeah, no, that's you know what? If you have painting skill to be able to upgrade some of this stuff, again, obviously, if you're not planning on selling it, because I don't know how painting something like this would affect the figure value, and only because whoever you try and sell it to eventually might not want it, right? But if you
True.
make it better, then I think it's worth it. So we got the shotgun here.
It's going to be a highly sought after accessory
Let's see
for
if I can get
sure.
a bit better of a
I'll give you 75 for that right now.
seven. You're just trying to pay off your tax.
Right. Yeah, that looks awesome though. Like so what are the paint applications on the wood pieces like?
Better. It looks a lot more like it's actually been a used gun. There's a bit of a black wash over. Oh, sorry. Probably put it in camera so people can actually see it. There's a bit of a black wash over the wood here, so it looks like it's clearly been used. This does cock, which is cool.
Excuse me?
I'm
Oh
not gonna
wow,
say
it
it
really
again.
does, huh?
Yeah. You can actually hear a little click noise, which is nice. So, the trigger is permanently pulled back, which I've always thought was a little bit strange, but it does allow for the trigger hand that comes, because there's a couple trigger hands that come with this figure, but it allows you to actually hold it, which is pretty cool, by sticking the finger through and clicking it. Oh, no, there you go. So you can stick it around and hold it, which is cool. Then it's a really nice firm grip on there. I always thought this was a funny hand, and I apologize. I know we've done the hand segment already, but it looks a bit like he's trying to play with somebody a little bit. Like it's kind of a weird hand, but I think it's meant for when he's holding the grenades. But this thing doesn't come with grenades, so you can't really recreate that
Oh,
look,
I didn't think of that being a missing accessory. Okay, so they
right?
said they gave
It's
us
like kind of
everything else
holding.
but the grenades.
But yeah, they gave us the hand, which is kind of an interesting part of it. So sorry,
And
give me
Ben,
one second.
apologies, I forgot to do this earlier, but I dropped the link to Ben's channel in the chat. If you're not already subscribed, go over there and let's get him to 50 subs tonight if we can, please. And again,
So
I'll
close to
drop.
50.
You're so close. You're so close. And I'll drop the link to your channel in the description of the video as well. Looks like Badfish has a question. Does it come with the detonator?
It does not come with the detonator. Great question, though. I would have thought with all the stuff that this guy does come with, honestly, that it would have come with it, but no, unfortunately not. So we got another handgun here. Oh yeah, I can see it.
The mask vibes, yeah.
The Mask is one of Shauna's favorite movies. I actually I tried to pick up a mask not too long ago from Eddie from Collecting Weekly, but he was able to get it sold before I was able to kind of source the funds. So all good.
You hate
It was
to see it.
right. It was close, but no cigar.
Mark, you hate to see it.
You hate to see it. This also does cock back, so it's got some
Awesome.
awesome action,
So Ben,
as well as the magazine does come out.
I know
Do you
we're
guys say
running up
if
here. Yeah, no, sorry. I was just going to say, I know we're running up against the hour mark. I did promise Shauna that I'd get you back, quickly. So there's absolutely no rush, but I just want to be cautious of your time. So
no worries. I appreciate that. If she's in the chat, then I'm hoping she's enjoying it enough to stay on for a little bit longer. Because I do want to talk about the Queen a little bit more as well. So, but you guys saw that the magazine obviously comes out of that as well, so which is pretty cool. Give me 1 second here, Marco.
no, you're good. And I will just plug Collecting Weekly. Ben and I think maybe Ben will be passing this time. He and I were on the show yesterday, but I'll be hopping over to After Dark after this. So follow us over there to Collecting Weekly After Dark. I don't know what the topic is tonight, but they're always they're always interesting for sure.
Yeah, you guys didn't. Was it After Dark not too long ago that you guys got into a bidet talk or something like that?
I think the bidet talk is pretty common amongst After Dark and After Dark affiliates like ourselves. And so I know we did a little bit of that talk on one of our unboxings, and I blame Mark Pearson and Danny are the two biggest culprits.
That's fair. That's awesome. Bear with me a half second, guys. I'm just putting some sticky tack on here. And the reason I use sticky tack for this display is so that I don't have to pop these sections out. So these sections here for this background display can pop out and then have a magnet applied, which comes in the instructions, in with the booklet. But because I've never opened this booklet, I've never been able to access the magnet strips.
Oh, got it.
Or the sticky strips. So, so I use, as a bit of a cheat anyways, just a little bit of sticky tack just in the corner, just so that it allows me to put it all together without ripping it here. So give me 1 second while I got this thing in the background. I'm going to quickly mute myself so I don't scratch the table here. Guys, give me 1 second.
Oh, you're good, Ben. Yeah, I guess I'll just comment on, how beautiful this figure is. And again, Ben and I kind of discussed doing an unboxing on here because I've always been curious. I've seen like different iterations of people's displays with this figure. I was like, how much stuff does this thing come with? And I know that it's been highly sought after. So yeah, the more that I see of this, like the more I am really impressed. I think Ben's right. Like once you get the coat off the figure, he kind of shines. So I think there is, and I'm not trying to talk myself into doing this, but I think there's really rationale behind keeping this figure and displaying him kind of how Ben has right now. Like he looks so great like this. I could see you easily, plopping him in a display. And like Sam is saying, can't go wrong with this setup. It's a keeper no matter what. Yeah, I completely agree. This is such a beautiful figure. We've got Scott Bradley here. Scott, thank you for joining. This is a beautiful figure. Definitely does not get the credit it deserves. Yeah, I am starting to agree with that. Like this is incredible. And then Shauna says, I'll jump on a show one of these days, Mark. I'm currently couch locked by the cat. Oh boy, yeah.
Which again, for an 18-pound cat, that's some serious couch lock, as you can imagine.
You're done. Maybe they were trying to recruit Shauna to After Dark.
Right. See if I can get this a little more straight on here, guys, so you can see a bit better.
This is so killer, though, Ben. Like, what a beautiful display.
Yeah, even the windows, like on this unit here, let's see. It's weird when you do it on camera, you're doing everything kind of in reverse to what you think you got, eh? But give me 1 second here. Hope nobody gets motion sickness. I apologize.
I'm getting a little woozy, but it's all right.
That's okay. I'm going to leave it like that because I can't get it quite straight, but
no, it looks
as
good.
You guys can see, it comes with quite the setup here. The windows are shiny. They got kind of a dark plastic on it, obviously for interrogation, which is really, really cool. This photographs like so nice. It looks exactly like the jail cell room setup in the Dark Knight. It's amazing. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, truly beautiful. I wish I wish the glass came with a swap out though. We could get some broken glass right there. Would be really cool. But they gave us everything else pretty much. So,
dude, that's actually a good point, right? Because when Batman slams his head into the glass, right? I mean, it would be cool to have a little bit of cracking there. Mm-hmm. Again, because I just sticky tacked this together, you can see why it's coming apart just ever so slightly at the edge, which breaks the immersion slightly, but not by a ton, honestly, which is kind of neat.
It really does look incredible, and just like the scene.
Change up the lighting in here a little bit. That's the one thing that I do find with this particular background is that it absorbs lighting really nicely. So right now it looks like he's figure lit from the top side here, but I actually have the light more front facing on this guy, but the way that it captures kind of on the door, it's beautiful.
Scott is saying what impressed him with this figure was that Hot Toys actually crafted his shoes out of real fabric with real cloth shoelaces. I just thought that was an amazing detail. Wow. Okay. That's really, really cool.
It is. And actually I'm really happy he mentioned that because the shoes on this figure are one of my favorite parts of this figure. They are literally soft to the touch. They feel like if you've ever had moccasins, like moccasin slippers, That's kind of the texture that they have on them.
Wow.
And I mean, the socks are awesome. I noticed the Queen Studios version, the socks are quite a bit darker in terms of their coloration, which I thought was interesting, an interesting choice. Again, I almost want to go back and look at to see what's more movie accurate, right? So, let me pop this guy's head off here, guys. But again, it's even pretty to have it like just for photographs, because if you took a photograph of this exact setup, just like kind of like this, I feel like you'd know exactly where this comes from. If you've seen The Dark Knight, if it's one of your favorite movies, you'd be able to peg it pretty darn quick.
Absolutely.
And I'm just leaving the glove hands on here for the sake of this review, guys. Normally I actually have the regular hands on him, but his wrist peg is having a bit of a hard time coming out, and I don't want to break it, so I'm just gonna leave it in for now.
Gigi's saying she's gonna have to see the Queen Studios side by side with this one, because this one's fire. Yeah, I agree, Gigi. Should I get this one too? Tell me in the chat if I should get this one.
How badly do you want that bathroom renovation? Do you
Right.
need an extra sink?
Yeah, I don't know that I can afford two $1,000 Jokers. That might be pushing it a little bit.
All right. Perfect.
Love this laughing sculpt too.
I think the laughing, as I said earlier in the video, guys, I honestly do think that the laughing sculpt is my favorite. I do think it's got some of the best likeness. Like I said before, this Heath head sculpt here from the side has some wonderful likeness.
Yeah, you
I honestly
see
don't
it right there.
I feel like video doesn't do the guy justice. I honestly think if you think that this is beautiful based on this video, then in hand you'd be even happier. I really do. If you have an opportunity to pick them up.
It's crazy how Hot Toys work like that, right? Like the pictures look really good, you get it in hand, and then that's what makes you addicted. You're like, these are so sweet in hand. I need every character that I love in this representation.
Just to quickly show you, this is not lettuce. This is straight seaweed of any sort. This is just the back of his head. So this is where you see that Purr's eye rolling system, which just freaks people out a little bit. I mean, most of us have had a Hot Toys in hand, so they know how it's like, but
so creepy. Yeah, I
when
don't know
it's the
that I
Joker,
have any...
it's a little extra creepy. I'm not gonna lie. Whoa, God, we're losing him.
I don't know that I have any figures that have the Purrs, because the Maul has the individual eye rolling mechanism, and the Batman that I have has like swap out eyes. Yeah, that's incredibly creepy.
I also think with most Hot Toys, just like I said in my review video of this guy, you don't see yourself in direct sunlight all that often. There are almost always shadows or shade of some sort casting definition over a regular human when you see them kind of walking through. So I find when I see reviews on figures where it's like in a light box, which is super brightly lit, I like that you can see every single detail on those figures. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a really cool way to review it. But when you see it in your display, or at least in my type of display, I like having the Philips Hue lights that I have in here, because it casts shadows over these guys, which makes them have that little bit extra realness, in my opinion.
Right there, that angle that you're holding it looks incredible. It really does.
Right. And again, with that Purrs system, you can mess with it quite a bit.
So Ben, I think we might wrap in probably the next few minutes here, just so I can get over to After Dark and don't leave our boys hanging. But let's maybe kind of do some of the traditions here. So the Joker butt. Out of 10 Alfies, how many Alfies would you give the butt?
The butt? And you know what? Let's stand him up and give him a quick look, because I don't know if I've ever examined the butt quite like Gigi does. So
got to give the people what they want and expect.
That's right. Let's see. I'll get this back out of the way here, guys. Give me 2 seconds. There we go.
Ooh, that's pretty weak. It's pretty weak stuff right there.
I'll pull up his little pants for him there. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, I would actually say this guy has pretty much no ass at all. So I would give on the butt scale if I had to rate it. What did you say, out of 5 or out of 10?
Out of 10 Alfies, if you would, because normally we rank them pancakes, but since it's your figure, I want to, be respectful to your scale.
If it was a pancake, it's as flat as a pancake, so it'd
right.
probably get a better score. As a cat ass, yeah, I would say this is like a 2 out of 10. There's almost nothing there for Gigi to get excited about, unfortunately.
And overall, so all right, so let's give it an overall rating out of 10. How many Alfies out of 10? Since we're not doing the pancakes.
I would say out of 10, I still give this guy a 9.5. For the age of the figure, if you looked at his original retail cost, insane. Everything that you get with him, all of the background, the different outfits that you can kind of manipulate. Again, you don't need 2 different figures to have this internal gel cell look, or you can have the jacket look. It depends on kind of what you're going for. I don't love some of the material choices that they used on the jackets, or on the purple jacket. So that's kind of brings it down a little bit. But overall, the paint applications, the clothing, the head sculpts, the accessories, you can't lose with this guy. And which is part of the reason I think he's going to be a Grail forever.
Absolutely. I think he will remain there. Shauna is saying the hair looks like ramen and it's making her hungry. Gigi said the ass looks like mine. Gigi, that's a low blow. All right, I'm going to block you now. Cuervo is saying, wow, what a setup. And I think there was some conversation about how many, rooted Queen Studios Jokers that were created. I think the speculation, I don't know where folks have seen this, but the speculation has been 6,000 figures. So that'd be interesting if they ever release any final numbers, or actually numbered that release would be really cool.
Yeah, well, I agree. I think if they can come out with a numbered option, I mean, it's already going to be pretty exclusive, but that's gonna bring it up to that next level of echelon in terms of collectability that you won't be able to touch in terms of a price value. Like it'll get to be the point where it's so insane that it's overpriced at that point, I would say. Yeah. I know we're running out of time. Real quick, I would say that after seeing the sculpted hair version versus the rooted hair version of the new Studios version, or Queen Studios version, I still think that anybody that got the rooted hair or the sculpted hair is going to be really happy. There are elements of that sculpted hair that I actually think look almost better than the rooted. At certain angles, some of the photos I've seen, I was kind of like, I kind of like it. Too. I kind of like it. And I'm nervous. Yeah. I've never had a Barbie in my life. I don't know how I'm going to futz with the hair if it requires it. And so
you have to call it Shauna's expertise there.
Yeah. And I think what if anybody, missed on the rooted sculpt, don't be too disappointed if you got the sculpted. I still think that's going to be amazing. I think you're going to be so happy to have it in your collection. And it's just one less thing to stress about. It'll look good on the shelf as soon as you put it on there, which is cool. So.
Absolutely. No, very excited to get those in hand. And yeah, we'll have to set some time on your channel to talk more about the Batman, talk about this Queen Studios Joker. I did drop the link in the chat again one more time. If you're not subscribed to the Ben Thomas Show, please go give him a subscribe. And yeah, Ben, thank you for hopping in here and showing off that figure today. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys, and thanks for everybody that is subscribed if you have already. Again, I'm just having a great time chatting with everybody, but we definitely appreciate the support. It's lots of fun. So Beautiful. Thanks again for having me on, Marco.
And why don't you plug, do you have any other content kind of planned for the channel?
Yeah, so I've already pre-filmed a Green Ranger Bandai Legendary 1:1 scale Green Ranger helmet that I'm going to show alongside the 3-0 Green Ranger here pretty soon. So stay tuned to the channel for that little review. And then I'm going to slowly kind of go through all of my hot toys. I don't want to give it away, no spoilers. I've got at least 16 behind me. Some of them are a little more retro than others. I'll probably go through the Batman line first. I've got Bane, the original Bane, as well as the Two-Face 2.0. So I won't give any more away than that, but there'll be some pretty cool videos coming up on there. And I'm open to suggestions. If anybody has anything that they want to see or want to talk about, or want to see some more live discussions, I know Marco and I are thinking about doing a few more live streams together, just talking about some cool stuff. So keep us posted. You can find me on Instagram at The Ben Thomas Show and on YouTube at The Ben Thomas Show. So beautiful.
And so I guess on our channel, we are going to have an interview with Loco Lou and his wife this weekend on Saturday. I ended up booking a last second trip, so it's going to be a bit tricky to figure out. I will be off site, but Gigi will be kind of handling things here. So it's going to be an interesting one, but very much in the spirit of, Local Lou, who's always on the run and, calling in from, work or wherever on the subway train. So we'll,
So funny.
we'll do him justice for sure. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. And let's see, we got a buy from Shauna. We've got a buy from Gigi, but Ben, if you wouldn't mind taking us out.
Bye.